Wow. Oh, Peter, you're already on. What's up, dude? Yeah, he did, man. What? I mean, that is the Garrett Cole that we know and we love, man. Right? That's our guy. That's our ace, hands down. His best start, I think, as a Yankee, and he's showing he ain't going anywhere in the Cy Young race. Nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So he's here to stay, and he solidified himself as a big time ace, even though, like we didn't know that already. But Daily Dose, what's up, dude? That's right, man. That's right. No more losing streak. No more. Dirt Pike, what's good, man? Let's go, man. Let's go, baby. This is, and another reason why I keep pining for a second frontline starter behind Cole is to minimize the ability or the potential of these types of losing streaks, to minimize it as much as possible. But this right here, we needed that performance tonight. We got it, and he's not going anywhere in the Cy Young race. I mean, to sum it up, Garrett Cole, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 15 strikeouts in 115 pitches, okay? 15. This is his 5th game this year of 12 or more strikeouts already. Johnny Lasagna came in through a clean 8th, and Chapman threw a clean 9th. And Chapman, I don't know if you noticed, but his body language was completely different. He looked feisty, and he looked really, really, really good tonight. So I'm hoping that he's starting to turn things around. So he didn't look defeated. He looked hungry. He looked angry. So that's the kind of Chapman that we knew, and he had much better command of his pitches, much better control. That slider was back. That was nasty strikeout in the second out. So he looks to be back, working his way back as well. Now on the offensive side, what do we have? I mean, by the way, Naughton, I think, threw 3.2 innings pitched for the Angels, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Bullpen, don't know. But in the third, Voit had a 2-run single and to make it 2-0. I'm telling you right now, he's going to make it as hard as possible for the Yankees to bring back Rizzo. Much as people like him, that's his goal, right? To make it as hard as possible and for them to justify re-signing Rizzo. So. And that's it's a good competition to have with him. So I get it. Rizzo's got the superior glove, but Voigt's he's gonna really, really make it hard for them, as he should. Now Brett Gardner came up in the 4th with an RBI single to make it 3-0, and then David Fletcher with an RBI double in the 6th inning to make it 3-1 off of Cole, and then Judge came up with a solo home run in the 8th, his 30th of the season, to make it 4-1, and that's how it ended, 4-1. So. Breaking the 4-game losing streak, right? And now they're heading for a 3-game set against Baltimore and then 3 against Toronto. I think it's 3 against Toronto. So this is an opportunity for them to kind of get back on track. I mean, Tampa Bay's been feasting on Baltimore. It's like they played them every other game. I don't know how they play, this one team like 90 times in the season. It's bizarre. It's one reason Tampa's so freaking good because they keep playing Baltimore. But now the Yankees get to feast on them for a couple games and hopefully play them better than they played them last time. So, and hopefully they do the same thing with Toronto. And Dirt Bike, 100%, man. He's going to make it. It's him, Rodon, and Robbie Ray, right, for the Cy Young. And he's going to make it really, really hard for them to not pick him for that Cy Young, man. He is on point right now, absolutely on point. That's the ace that's the ace that we signed, man. And that's big time right now. That's big time tonight. And again, those aces types like that, they are losing streak stoppers, And that's what he's here for, to stop these losing streaks and start new winning streaks. So love him. I don't think bored. No, I mean, he wasn't caught with it. I mean, he hasn't been busted with it. I mean, and that became a widespread thing. Everybody was using this sticky substance of some sort. So no, I don't think he will. No, I don't think it'll be an issue at all. Yeah, Loizaga, a really clean, dominant inning. This is the best performance by Cole this season. I think his best performance as a Yankee overall. And he was nasty tonight. So Ohtani, I love seeing him dominating the top hitters. And that's what the aces do, man. A's are losing to the Tigers. Good. We need Tampa to lose some games, That's what we need, man. Dirt Bike, man, I would love him to accomplish that. Take the title. I mean, that would be phenomenal if they took the whole thing. The Rays and the Red Sox are tied in the 9th. It's the only time I'm rooting for Boston, so go Red Sox. And, take down the Rays. Help the Yankees out a little bit, huh? Help your brothers out, man. Come on. Yeah, and Chappie did, man. Chappie was, like I said, his body language was completely different tonight. He just looked, his chest was upright. He looked fierce. He looked like the dominant chap of early this season. So I'm hoping that guy is coming back now. So right when we need it as well in the postseason, particularly since Britton's out for the rest of the season. And a couple of corresponding moves today. Today's the day for roster expansion. They did bring up Estevan Florial and Brooks Kriske, 2 spots. I think they're going to be rotating these 2 roster spots now. Gio Urshela got hurt last night, so there's a chance he might go on the IL as well. When he threw Ohtani, when they did that double steal, he landed awkwardly on his wrist, so they got to run some tests on his wrist to see if he's iffy now. But this creates, openings for Odor to play more now and some other guys too. And Boone said they're going to keep Velasquez around too, even when they call up Gleyber Torres. So that's a good thing. So there's a chance that Gio might be out, but we'll see. He was pretty inconsistent and he was not really hitting that well, but we have enough guys to, to overcome this. And yeah, Lance Lynn, that's Peter. That's the other guy I wanted to mention, Lance Lynn, not Rodon, Lynn. He is hurt now, and I think Cole's overall body of work is more dominant. So now he's down to 2.75 ERA. He's got 215 strikeouts. He's now 13-6. So he's on fire, man. He's on fire. So hope he continues this momentum. I really, really do. Yeah, Mike King's on it. So King, and they announced yesterday, Mike King and Gleyber Torres both skipped AA rehab assignments and went right to AAA rehab assignments. So they're on a kind of a accelerated path, it looks like, towards back to the big team. So I'm hoping that, they, as long as they do it and they're not being rushed overly well. I don't care if they skip a AA game, as long as they stay for an extra AAA game to kind of get them closer to major league activity. But just don't call them up too soon. They did that with Urshela, and they did with some other guys. And the last thing you want to do is disrupt the momentum of guys like Velasquez and some of these other dudes who are playing really well. We don't need to disrupt that if it's not necessary. So, and I know they want to bring in starters, and Torres overall has a higher ceiling, he's a better overall player, but Velasquez is hot right now. He's playing extremely well, and he's much better glove than Torres does. So you ride that hot bat and that hot glove, when you can, particularly in a playoff race. So, Joe, I see Sevy in the bullpen next year. And this is one of the things that I mentioned. I mean, I don't think he's going to be healthy enough. Can stay healthy enough to stay in the rotation. He's got a violent motion. And he throws really hard. And he's dominant. But I'd rather see him in the bullpen throwing darts. Like I would much rather replace Zach Britton for Luis Severino in the bullpen. Severino can throw two or three innings of just absolute fire. I'll take that. And if they add another starting pitcher in the offseason, and then you plug Sevy in the bullpen, that's a pitching upgrade, significantly upgrade. Florial, I mean, I think their logic right now, Daly, is I'm not exactly sure, but to get a little bit more speed on the base pass. He's a little bit faster than Allen, but I like Allen. He plays multiple positions, but I think they're going to rotate. Personally, I would have called up Allen. You guys know that. I would have brought up Allen and Luis Hill. But I know Boone also said that Hill's going to get at least one start this month up in the majors. So I guess to see whether he's going to put him on the postseason roster or not. Allen plays multiple positions and he's a switch hitter, so he gives the lineup versatility. So I would have called him up. But my thought process now is they're going to be rotating those 2 spots. So for quite a bit, just to see based on how the team's performing, what needs they have and stuff. They might need an extra bat or an extra pitcher. So I think they're going to kind of do it accordingly. Yeah, me too, Rob. I mean, I'm hoping for Greg Allen as well. I was, and I still am. So, well, that's the other thing too, Daly, in terms of, rehab team changing. It's travel, and it's a combination of things. But the higher level of competition too in AAA is a pretty significant jump from AA to AAA, and then a much more significant jump from AAA to the majors. So I think it's a combination of the two. But and again, yeah, I mean, you obviously make sense. I mean, Torres bat, and then you have Velasquez come in for defensive purposes in the 7th. That makes sense too. We just got to get to the point where Torres is hitting again. So because he has a superior bat, but just need him to be consistent with that bat, and he hasn't been for a little bit now. So, and so once you get him back there, I would be up for that. Cole definitely made his case, man. J. Dal, he made his case. I mean, look at the performance tonight, man. I mean, 7 innings, 15 Ks, and 4 hits. Like, it was absolutely filthy. Filthy. And those are the types of performances that, really, really put you up to the top 2 or 3, starters in all of baseball. And he's showing that. And again, 5 straight, five starts this year with 12 or more strikeouts. That's big. That's big time. He's got 215 Ks now. So, and he's got still a couple of starts left. So he might get up to about 240, 250, which is a hell of a year. So, hell of a year. He's definitely made his case now. Jarvis, I don't know, man. Honestly, I think the Yankees are not known for giving extensions before free agency's up, or before they become a free agent. But Judge can be the exception. I would have extended him a couple years ago, and I believe it depends on the extension. Like, I would not give him. He's going to be free agent after next year, and he's going to be almost 32. So I would not be giving him $250 million at the age of 32. There is no way in the world I would do that. If somebody else is going to give him 250, you let him go. But that's where they need to consider trade proposals for him if they don't plan on giving him that type of money. Because with the way he's hitting and the way he's performing, I would rather give up 1 year of Judge for 3 or 4 pretty solid prospects for 5 or 6 years. I would take that trade off, even if he's the face of the franchise. That's just me. I would consider it, but I don't see him getting extended before he becomes a free agent. And it's very surprising when the Yankees do something like that, and it very rarely happens. And it usually only happens with a pitcher with an opt out, like a Chapman or CC Sabathia. Yeah, I mean, Florial and Allen have wheels. Allen's got more versatility than Florial, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what Boone's logic was there, but we'll see. Wicked 50, what's up, man? Yeah, Judge I think he's the Yankees team MVP with Stanton not far behind. Ohtani is by far the American League MVP. I don't even think it's close with anybody. But I think in terms of team MVP, I think you Judge number 1, Stanton 2, or even Judge 1, Cole 2, Stanton 3. Because Cole's been nasty. 150 for 5 at the most. Yeah, that's pretty much my limit too, Jarvis. So I think he's going to get more than that. I think he's probably going to get 200. I mean, if they're going to give people like Trevor Story $150, there's no way that, or even more than that, there's no way Judge is not going to get that type of money. Especially with Judge being a much more superior hitter than Trevor Story. 150 for 5, I would jump on that if I were the Yankees, but I have a feeling it's going to go for a significant amount more than that. Yeah, I mean, Judge is going to be a competitor in the MVP race this year. It's going to be really hard for Ohtani to lose, even though the Angels are not competing and contending but he's carried that team with Trout out, and that makes him a very valuable player. And that's one of the reasons why I think he's going to win, because he did carry the team and kept them relatively close to playoffs without Mike Trout. Mike Trout's missed about 100 games now. And, Ohtani's been just lifting that whole offense, man, and pitching well. So he's a special player. Yeah, I mean, five and $150 would be probably my max too. I wouldn't go 5-200. That's too much. 40. I mean, they have to address pitching. They have to address other holes. And I don't like, I'm not a fan of extend. Like, I would have extended him when he was 27 or 28 and given him a 6 or 8 year deal then, instead of, a 5 or 6 year deal at the age of 31, 32. And like, again, I would have locked him up years ago, but they didn't do that. They never do that with the hitters. Judge's agent, I don't know if it's Boris or not. 15. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Boris, but don't be surprised if all of a sudden they announce, he's now represented by Scott Boris after, if he hits 40 home runs and has a monster year and he's going into a walk year. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden Casey Close or Scott Boris become his agent, because Boris is notorious for getting people ridiculous contracts. So, and, yeah, I mean, J-Dial, 100%, man. 100%, like Severino got a 4-year, $40 million extension. And next year is going to be his 4th year of the 4 years. Like, it's been like a wasted 3 years. Yankees just blew away $30 million because of Tommy John missing this and not coming back now. So they've got 1 year left of Severino. So, I mean, after next year, you're going to have Severino free agent, Sanchez, Judge, a lot of guys, Gallo. It's going to be a huge outgoing class of free agents next year for the Yankees. Huge, much different than this year. Much different. But, and that's why I keep saying a Judge trade needs to be, at the very least, considered. I know people don't want to hear it, but this is an opportunity. But all the guys that are going to be free agents this year, if you can replace a lot of them with some young prospects for a guy like Judge, you have to consider it. You have to. So, Heaney has more home run potential than Judge. Yeah. Judge can hit 40. Heaney's going to give up like 200. Somebody made a comment yesterday where during my free agent video that said that Heaney should be sent to North Korea. So he's signed over there. So I thought that was pretty funny. And but yeah, man, Heaney gives up just a billion home runs. So he's the home run giving machine. He's like Santa Claus. Here's some home runs, guys, for Christmas. Like, it's very generous. But yeah, I mean, fit mess climb. Like, yeah, I mean, like, this is the time to consider it. I mean, it's why I'm gonna wind up being this offseason, obviously. But with a year left, somebody will overpay for him, and it would be an unpopular move. I get it. He's the face of the franchise, the judge's corner. He's got gets a lot of merch, but if they move him, this is potential for addition by subtraction, right? You move that guy, and you get a bunch of young guys in return, and I mean. You can move forward. That doesn't mean moving him is going to sabotage the team with all the other firepower they have coming in. Like, and if they do move him, you be sure they're going to bring in somebody in the free agency to offset his offense, somebody, as well as the people that they get in return. So they'll do something. Cashman's not just going to give him up for nothing. So there's no way. But it's got to happen. If they don't plan on. And I'm sure Cashman and them have some kind of limit, we're not going to know what the limit is, but it's time to consider it. I mean, I've been saying it for months now, since the deadline, and I got pounded for it by people, but people thought I was nuts. But it's got to do it. Favorite Yankee team ever? Lorenzo 98. I love the 2009 too. I was at Game 6 with my wife and my mom. We sat in the bleachers when they clinched the World Series in 2009. But 1998 was one of my favorite, probably my favorite team ever. 99 I love too. When they brought in Clemens, who was my favorite pitcher of all time. And those are my three favorite Yankee teams. But 98 was a stinking awesome team. Yeah, I mean, Cole's a beast, man, Alan. I mean, yeah, I thought Loaiza, he's gone 2 innings a couple times recently, so I'm guessing they want to kind of preserve his arm and let Chapman have opportunities to kind of get back into shape, so get back into a groove. So I don't mind them giving him. You have one dominant inning. Loaiza, Chapman came in, had a dominant inning, and now you saved Loaiza's arm for Baltimore. So as long as he keeps moving in the right direction, we're good. Yankees' infatuation with Krisky. I think his versatility and the ability to throw multiple innings. But again, I think he's going to be one of these rotating arms. Like, he might go down, and then you might bring Luis Hill up or something like that, or Abreu. Like, I think they're going to rotate a bat and an arm for these last 2 roster spots. So they can switch and flip them out, but they have 2 extra spots now. So, and again, Gio might be down. He might be hurt, so that clears up another one. So, which would probably be Velasquez. They won't have to send down, because my guess was they were probably going to send down Velasquez, who's been a feel-good story for one of these guys. Now they might not have to if Gio goes down. So it gives them a little bit more flexibility there, but we'll see. We'll see. Move Gallo and keep Judge. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I don't see them moving Gallo, Allen, is because they're paying like $10 a year for him. I don't know how Cashman did it. He got Texas to eat like virtually all Gallo's money, all Rizzo's money. Almost everybody, Clay Holmes' money, Joelly's money, like he only added like $2 million to the payroll at the deadline, and he got 5 guys. I don't know how he did it. And I mean, it's like a Houdini job, but I think that's one reason why they would not move Gallo, because even if he hits 30 to 35 home runs and strikes out a billion times, if you're paying nothing for him, just like they're paying nothing for Odor, you don't get rid of him unless you have a clear upgrade. And I get Judge is better than Gallo. I get that, but Gallo's not going to, I mean, I don't think they're going to re-sign Gallo to $200 million deal, $150 million deal. I don't see them re-signing Gallo probably at all when he leaves after next year. So, but we'll see. Depends on how well he plays next year. But, you know, trade him and sign Daly, Joe Judge. Yeah, that's a good one, dude. Isn't Joe Judge also the head coach of the New York Giants football team, or was he? There's a guy, I think it's Joe Judge, the football team. And, yeah, I mean, I got nervous with Chappie coming in too, but once you saw him, his demeanor and he was throwing 101, 102, had nasty off speed such, he just had command and control. I felt better. And once he got quick 2 outs, and once Higgy threw him out after the ball got past him at first base, I knew he was going to close it out. I felt much better about it. And I feel better about him when he works quickly through an inning instead of labors. He sweats like just a wild hog. I mean, when he's like dripping and it looks like he's throwing 160 pitches, that's when I get nervous. Today, and then when he's also slouched over, he wasn't like that today. He was upright and just ready to kind of throw down. So it was different body language, and I noticed, and I liked it. So, and yeah, I mean, yeah, Kriski's he's been effective here. 3.02 ERA. That's pretty solid, man. That's effective. So, Daly's, it's a good point. So, yeah, man, dude, Steven, I mean, I can't say enough about Cole. Just can't say enough about how he played tonight and how he pitched. I mean, it was incredible. It was really, really, really incredible. It was phenomenal. I mean, I love watching him pitch. And well, see, this is the thing too, Michael. You make a good point. Like, you wish other pitchers would take, and I think he mentors a lot of these young guys. So I think a guy like him helps make other pitchers in the rotation better. I think he's rubbing off on Nestor, rubbing off on some of these other guys. Tyone, like, they are pitching, but even though Tyone's had a rough 2 games now, but he is making other pitchers better, and that's why I think having a co-ace brought in this offseason, somebody like I don't know, Luis Castillo or like when he was with Verlander in the Astros, Verlander made Cole better, and he made Verlander better. So having somebody at that level or close to it, there's hardly anybody at that level to help push Cole and make him better and help him motivate. I think it'll be make the rotation stronger, and again, minimize these 4-game winning streaks at the wrong time, especially. So, and that's where I think he has a lot of value, not only pitching, but leadership and mentoring and players, and just his overall gamer demeanor. It's pretty remarkable. So he's a true gamer. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, not paying Gallo money can make it better for a trade. It depends. It depends on who would be interested in taking him, where would they move him and stuff like that. But again, if you get rid of Gallo and you don't replace his offense, then where do you go with that? So that's the thing. Like, you got to make sure it's an upgrade somewhere if you move Gallo. But I get the logic. He strikes out way too much, and he's too inconsistent. But again, he's hitting 35 home runs a year, so that's not something you give up that easily. So I would just wish he would hit more clutch hits and home runs instead of just junk time home runs. But we'll see. Tampa's losing. Fantastic. I hope that they lose and the Yankees pick up a game in the standings. I mean, during this 4-game losing streak, they lost, I think, 2 games in the standings. So it's just, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is like what I'm talking about. Like, Cole talked to him after every start, and he works on things with starters. Like, that's something Roger Clemens used to do with the young pitchers, and they just work on stuff. Greg Maddux, like, guys like that, work on things, help the younger guys, and help improve. Even relievers help show them new pitches. Mariano Rivera was showing people his cutter, even though nobody was able to throw it like him. He was still showing guys, and they made some improvements in their pitching. So that's the type of leader that makes him. That's one of the things that makes him special. And he did give us Blazing exactly what we needed tonight. We needed that dominant performance, and we needed somebody to stop the losing streak. So, and not by a squeaker. I mean, even though 4-1 is not a blowout, and the Yankees didn't overall explode, but they had clutch hits, and it's something that they haven't had during the streak. So, and they got a gamer performance from Cole at the same time. So, exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed. So, now we're off to Baltimore. So hopefully with a much better feeling about the team tonight and the performance, and hopefully Tampa loses. So yellow wristbands, Steve, I have no idea. I missed it too. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I have no idea. I might have to look it up and talk about it tomorrow night. I'm curious now. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give up on Gallo yet. He gets when he gets hot, he gets hot. He just like Torres and some of these other guys. They're streaky. When they're hot, they're unstoppable. When they're cold, they suck. So, and a lot of these Yankees are just like Stanton. When he's cold, he can't hit anything. He's swinging at stuff almost at first base. When he's hot, he's unstoppable. So he's just another one of these guys. That's why we need and I said this yesterday, we need a table setter, somebody like a Brian Reynolds or a prototypical leadoff hitter that, gets on base, does the little things and plays multiple positions and stuff like that. And sets up the lineup so that so many of these guys aren't playing out of their order as well as playing out of position too. But like a prototypical leadoff hitter would do wonders for the Yankees lineup. I mean, I would wish to God and wish to the heavens that the Yankees would go after Brian Reynolds. I don't know. But at the very least, try if they can get him. It's going to cost a boatload, obviously, but he would be the guy I would give up a haul for. Probably the only guy I would give up a haul for. Ketel Marte, I give up a lot for, but Brian Reynolds I would pick over Marte. But Boston, yes. Daly, thanks for the update, man. Boston beats Tampa 3-2. The Yankees picked up a game. Cancer awareness. Thank you, Daily Dose, and Yankees too. So the yellow bracelets are for cancer awareness. I think the pink ones are breast cancer. I think yellow, I guess, is overall cancer of all types, I think. So, but it's good to see them, representing and fighting for a cause, man. It's good to see it. Do I trust Taillon and Montgomery in the postseason? Yeah, I mean, I think they're probably gonna go to 4-man, and it's either going to be Cole, Nestor, Taillon, and Montgomery. And if for some reason they don't trust Taillon's done too much at this point, unless they, because I think he might be reaching pitching in innings limit as well after coming back at 2 Tommy John. So if you're going to replace anybody, you probably replace Taillon with Luis Hill and you put Taillon in the bullpen as a way of preserving his arm because he's gone from 0 innings to like almost 140, 150. So that's something you need to keep in mind as well to preserve his arm. Last thing you want is another Tommy John surgery. So he would be the guy I would probably replace with Hill, Luis Hill. So that would be, and then you'd have Cole, Nestor, Hill, and Montgomery, which would be, I'd be good with that. I'd sign up for that. So, and then Herman, we don't know yet. I mean, we don't know about the number 5 guy. We just don't know. But they can put guys together for that. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, J. Dow, I know. I mean, I get the point for like a Rizzo extension. I think Luke Voigt's going to make it very difficult for them to extend Rizzo. I think he's going to try his hardest to make him realize that, okay, I think his objective is you guys need me. You don't need Rizzo. And why pay $80 million for Rizzo when you have me for 3 more years on the cheap? And, so I mean, I get the argument. Even though, I mean, I wish they would find a way to play Rizzo and Voit. But again, that makes it difficult for them to bring in a prototypical leadoff hitter or make it difficult for them to become more athletic and versatile because neither Rizzo or Voit are super athletic or fast. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. And who knows if they move Voit for pitching? I don't know. And I've said this repeatedly too, like they need to make decisions at first base and shortstop. And that kind of will, I think, filter out into a lot of other areas. So, but those are the 2 big decisions they need to make aside from, I don't think pitching is a decision. That's just a necessity for them every year. They always have issues in starting pitching. So they need to bring in a starting pitcher and maybe acquire one too. But yeah, I mean, Hill, he's got a 0 ERA. So Peter, and that's why I think they're bringing him up for another start to just kind of keep him in the starting pitching groove and just to see, whether he can, make this, whether it's bullpen or starting, make the postseason roster. And Kluber, yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's gonna make the postseason roster with all the time that he's missed. Even though they're paying him a lot and they probably want to, but at this point I'm not sure. I mean, maybe the bullpen, but they might put him in a I'm not exactly sure. So I need to see a couple more starts from Kluber before I kind of put him in my postseason roster. But and yeah, King. Again, he could be a spotter, but I think he'll be a long relief guy daily. And he's a pretty solid long relief guy. So the Yankees have options and they have flexibility. It's going to be hard for them to put together that postseason roster. They're going to have to make some really tough decisions. And again, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about, Brett. Like, Gittins is a cheap backup. So if you don't, give Rizzo $80 million because he's going to cost anywhere between like 17 and 20 million. Then you have Voit and you have Chris Gittins as his backup. He's a power hitting backup. And I know he's a right-handed. We need a lefty, but that's where other guys come in. That's where Brian Reynolds comes in. That's where someone else comes in. So they would, need to replace Rizzo lefty with another lefty somewhere. So that's kind of my logic as well. That they want to make the lineup less right-handed, so you'd have to have a lefty somewhere. But I like Gittins, and he's got a pretty solid gloves too. So, and if there's talk of Austin Wells, and I could see him moving from catcher over to a position, and I think he's a lefty hitter if I remember correctly. I could see that happening too. In which case, then they might move somebody, and he was drafted in 2019, so he's got a lot of development, a lot of years of control left. So, yeah, Peter. I mean, Torres. If they were going to move Torres away from shortstop. My two scenarios either. I mean, Correa obviously would be an attractive option. So would Corey Seager. He's lefty. He's younger than Torres. I mean, actually, him and Correa are like around the youngest. But I could also see them, just kind of holding on to Torres until Volpe or Oswald Peraza are viable options for short or second. So I'm really interested to see what they do. Like I say, with shortstop and first base. I mean, there's so many different things that they could do with both. And that's my thing. So, and yep, Clint, I've said it repeatedly a lot. We need a legitimate 1B or a legitimate number 2 behind Cole. And we do. And it's just, but thanks for that feedback, Clinton. Good night, man. Thanks for your support as always. Guys, hit the like button if you haven't yet. It's really helpful to the channel. I really appreciate you guys. And I want to get those likes up as often as high as I possibly can. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, they have Wells is lefty, so good, Brent. I mean, that's a good thing. So, and he's got a solid bat. Volpe's a righty, but he's got a solid bat too. Peraza's a righty bat, but he's good. But the Yankees have some prospects coming up that on the righty and lefty side. So, yeah, I mean, Clint, Sevy might be moved, but he could be moved, but he's got to show that he's healthy, and that's the thing. That's why I think moving him to the bullpen is a better move for the Yankees. If he can show he's healthy and be dominant in the bullpen, that makes him a dominant relief piece that they can move easier than an injury-prone starting rotation piece. But hey, Caleb, what's up, man? That's my opinion. But I think that's where his value would be best utilized. So, Peter, I get it, man. I get it. And Correa is good, but I don't know if I don't know if they're going to bring in anybody that's affiliated with the Astros cheating scandal and blah blah blah. There's still bad blood there, and but he's borderline superstar. So Seager, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think they're going to wind up holding on to Torres. At the end of the day, I only move him for a frontline starting pitcher, just like I only move Voit for a frontline starting pitcher. Nobody else, but Seager he's got postseason experience. He's a clutch hitter and he's a lefty bat and he's young. He's only 2 years older than Torres. So he's personally the only guy I would replace Torres with of the free agents. I would not replace him with anybody else. So, yeah, I mean, Gil could be. I mean, Hill could be. I mean, he's got to, keep developing. You give him an offseason, you put him in, you get him for spring training and let him compete for a rotation spot. He could be, but I still see them bringing in a starting pitcher, a veteran starting pitcher of some kind, even whether it's Rodon or someone else, or even Justin Verlander on a moderate contract with a boatload of incentives or something like that for a while. I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? You might do something that surprises people. I think Verlander would surprise a lot of people. But Sweeney too, yeah. I mean, there's guys that aren't really talked about that much in the Yankee system that are really good prospects. So there's a lot of them, and that's why their farm keeps improving. But they have to get opportunities, and the Yankees have not been great at giving these young guys opportunities, and it drives us nuts as fans, particularly me. They got to give these young kids a chance, man. So our third base, Michael, so Gio did land awkwardly on his wrist last night, so they're taking him running for tests. He's sore, so they want to make sure there's no structural damage there. But at least they have the reinforcements. Again, they could bump what's his name, DJ over to third. Or keep where he is. They could play Odor third. So they have the guys, and you have Velasquez there for defensive purposes as well. That way, they don't have to rush Torres back. So they have the guys, And honestly, when it was Odor and Velasquez, that's when the Yankees were winning this 13-game winning streak. So and those guys contributed to it. So I think the Yankees, Lorenzo. So they did make an offer for Berrios, but they wanted a lot more than the Yankees were willing to give up, unfortunately. So for some reason, they asked for the moon for the Yankees. A lot of teams, other teams in general, and they didn't get the moon from Toronto. But it is what it is, unfortunately. And Berrios would have been nice. He would have been my choice at the deadline too. So, and again, Rodon is my guy in free agency, my option in free agency. I think lefty, young, he pitches well, and he's healthy. So for the most part, but it depends on how much he's going to ask for. I think him and Robbie Ray are both going to get probably 4 to 5 years deal, close to $100 million each, or $80 million or something like that. But if I were to go in between the two, I go Rodon. But we'll see. Velasquez, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. We'll see. This is the time to give him a chance, and that's what I would do. But and that's the other thing too. Berrios' ERA has been a little suspect too, so I would not have given Voit plus other guys for him. So that's a good point too, Daly. But let me let you guys go. Appreciate you coming on as always. You guys are the best. Enjoy your night, and let's talk tomorrow after the Yankees hopefully beat up on Baltimore. Over and out, guys. Have a good night.